The new year is, for many, a time of celebration and renewal, a fresh start. But for those who are grieving, it can bring up a complicated mix of emotions. You might feel sadness over what you've lost, or maybe you're wrestling with a sense of numbness that makes it hard to look forward. And, it's also okay if there are glimmers of hope or optimism mixed in there. Grief doesn't follow a neat societal timeline, and those calendar dates like January 1st don't have to dictate how you feel. I mean, honestly, it's okay if your emotions don't fit what you think they should be right now. That's something I've learned from my own journey. Grief and healing aren't linear, and they're not about forgetting or erasing the past. They're about learning how to make space for all of it, the sorrow, the love, the memories, and finding ways to carry that forward. And, it's so important to approach this time and yourself with what I like to call radical self compassion. So ask yourself, what feels right for you this new year? For me, one small way I've come to honor my emotions is by journaling. It helps me get everything out onto paper. Sometimes it's an insight, sometimes it's just a page of feelings that are hard to name. Other times, it's little acts like lighting a candle or writing a letter to my son. They're small gestures, but they remind me to take a moment just for those emotions, to sit with them and not judge them. What small step, what tiny act might allow you to honor your grief or even your hope this week? And let's talk about those pressures we so often feel at this time of year to set big, bold resolutions. After a loss, chasing milestones can feel like too much, and honestly, it's just not necessary. Instead of resolutions, I've started setting intentions, things that feel gentle and possible. Like, I intend to be kind to myself when I feel overwhelmed, or I intend to rest when I need it. Intentions meet you exactly where you are without that pressure to reach some massive goal. So, what's one gentle intention you could bring into this year just to take care of yourself a little better? One of the hardest parts of entering a new year after loss is facing the traditions that no longer feel the same. Those big, joyful customs we once loved might feel hollow now, even painful. And that's okay. It's a natural part of the grieving process. But what I've learned is that sometimes creating new traditions can offer a sense of comfort, something gentle and meaningful to help bridge the gap between what was and what is now. I was speaking with a listener recently whose family started blending their old traditions with new ones. Instead of their usual New Year's Eve party, they chose to cook one of their loved ones' favorite meals and share stories about them. It wasn't the same, but it became this beautiful way to keep the memory alive while also making space for new experiences. And, it reminded me just how powerful rituals can be in helping us heal. So I'd love to ask, is there a tradition, whether old or new, that feels meaningful to you this year? If you're unsure where to start, I'd encourage you to think small. It could be something as simple as lighting a candle, keeping a journal where you jot down moments of peace or little joys, or even crafting something physical like a memorial scrapbook. I've heard from a listener who did just that, a scrapbook to celebrate the memories while creating something tangible to hold on to. What about you? Is there a gentle practice, something small and approachable that might bring you peace in your daily life? And let's talk about the guilt that sometimes creeps in when we change traditions. It's so easy to feel like we should do things a certain way or honor the past exactly as it was before, but those shoulds can weigh you down. What I've realized is that letting go of expectations, even just one, can open up space for healing. Experts often say that guilt is one of the biggest barriers to processing grief, and I really believe that. So here's my question for you: how might releasing one expectation help you redefine your journey this year? Grief can be incredibly isolating, but you don't have to go through it alone. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is the importance of leaning on others, even if it's just one person you trust, whether it's a close friend, a therapist, or even a virtual support group. Sharing your feelings in some way can be healing. And, even silence with a compassionate presence can feel like connection. So I'd ask, who in your life could offer that kind of space for you during this season? For me, I've found healing in the smallest, simplest moments. During the harder days, I started gardening. It wasn't anything grand, just planting a few flowers here and there, but it became this meditative act, a way for me to be present and find a little peace amid everything I was feeling. Maybe for you, it's a cup of tea each morning or a quiet walk through your favorite park. These small rituals remind us to breathe, to take care of ourselves in moments when it feels hard to. What calming activity might you choose to include in your day to day life? And of course, healing isn't something that happens overnight. It's not a straight path forward where you see progress every day. I've had moments where I thought, wow, I think I'm doing okay, only for a memory or a date to send me spiraling back into grief. But I've learned that it's all part of the process. And it's in those moments of setback that we need to give ourselves grace, to remind ourselves that this journey has no timelines or rules. So, what's one way you could show yourself kindness even in the hardest moments? As we close today, I want to leave you with this: healing from loss doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. Whether it's by seeking support, finding comfort in small daily moments, or simply allowing yourself to feel what you feel, you are moving forward at your own pace. And that's more than enough. Thank you for joining me today. Wishing you peace and gentle moments as you continue on this journey. And on that note, we'll talk next time.